hand if you can hear me. All right, enough of you can hear me that I think we're going to go ahead and get started. I'll see if these people can. If you can hear me, raise your hand. Awesome. All right, we're going to get started. Welcome. Thank you for coming out here. I'm sure a lot of you were planning to be here last week, but we ordered up better weather for today. So thanks for showing up today. My name is Shel Sanchez. I'm the Director of Arts and Culture for the City of Albuquerque, and we are very excited to celebrate today. I was also really excited when I drove up. You know, Tuesday afternoon or Monday afternoon press conferences don't always have a great community showing, but this tells me how excited the community is about this particular piece of art because we got a lot of people here celebrating. So if you live and love the West Side, let's hear a little bit of noise. Yeah, that's what I thought. All right. So today we are celebrating this work of art, which marks the last piece of our new installation in celebration of the Route 66 Centennial. So there are 18 stops along our Route 66 Remixed tour. I think this one very beautifully is emblematic of the Route 66 remix. So we got the shield, we got the 2 6s, kind of jumbled up and painted in maybe not the most traditional way that you've seen the Route 66 shield before. But this is what we really love about Route 66 Remix. It involves 20 artists and 1 poet, 18 different locations along Route 66, starting at Singing Arrow all the way to the very tippy top of 9 Mile Hill and a lot of places along the way. We've got a few other partners here. Mark Baker from 505 is here. We've got Len Romano from Ripe, who helped us with all of the branding and marketing. So we got a lot of people here and a lot of partners to thank along the way. What we wanted to do as a city for the Centennial was we wanted our signature project, because we're doing a lot for Route 66 Centennial, but we wanted our signature project to be something that no matter what day you came to Albuquerque to visit our stretch of Route 66, there would be something special for you to do, and that's what the Route 66 Remixed is. So you can visit all of these sites in one day. It'll probably take you all day, but you can visit all of them in one day. Some of them are augmented reality stops, some of them are murals, some of them are sculptures. The poet's voice will guide you along the way. But this is open every single day. So some cities are having a 2-day party or a 3-day party, and that's awesome. But we want people to come and visit every single stretch of our Route 66 and have a good time whenever they come. So we're really proud of this initiative, and I hope you take the time to log in and learn more about it on the website. So I'm going to get started with our fabulous speakers. Everyone that's talking today represents a really important partner in getting this done. But I'm going to say not everybody who was a partner is getting to speak today, because this is an example of a lot of people and organizations and artists and individuals coming together to do something really fun and unique for our city. So I'm going to start off with my boss and the 3rd-term mayor of Albuquerque, Mayor Tim Keller.
Well, thank you so much, Shel, and it's great to be here today, especially because we planned this last week. I think many of you know this. It was like the one day with the 50-mile-an-hour winds and the whole thing. And so definitely great to see the sun reflecting on this amazing artwork and the sparkles coming through. But I want to really just touch on a few notes. Of course, first and foremost, everything we're doing on Route 66 is a reflection of the people who live here on Route 66 or who have lived in our city for quite some time and celebrate our city. And I think that's one thing that we just want to acknowledge is behind all of the anniversary is the community that's here and the people who live even in this very neighborhood. So I know we have some neighbors in the back here from the area and folks from all over up and down Route 66. Just a round of applause to everyone here today who loves Route 66. Thank you. And of course, as our Arts and Culture Director mentioned, we're handling our Route 66 anniversary a little bit different than other cities. And the biggest difference is we want this to be built to last. Just like our city, just like Route 66, it's not just about a festival. And that's why much of our investment is meant to last for decades and for the next generation to come, to celebrate Route 66 and to lift up our community and the culture around it, but at your own leisure, like whether it's 2 years from now or whether it's at night or during the day. All of this is meant to be awesome public art that is literally a stop on a tour. So now, as Shell mentioned, people are saying, what are you doing for Route 66? Well, now we have a whole new way as you drive, and it's hard for Burqueños to because we're on Central all the time. I mean, I've lived off Central now for 30 years. And you forget, actually, as we drive by, all the awesome little pieces along the way. The murals, the public art, the historical structures. And so now we're gonna do that through an app and digitally, but it's also a reminder that we are blessed to have this amazing stretch, the longest stretch of Route 66 in the country, in a city right here in Albuquerque. So for this place specifically, of course, this is the historic Unser property. So most folks who live around here know this, but just in case others don't, this is where the legend is. These are the Unser garages. The Unser mansion, which is a mansion Albuquerque style. It's just like a big house with a big trophy room, is on the inside. And so it's fitting also, of course, that we're celebrating that slice actually of our history, also right here at Unser the street, named after this location of the Unser historical family property. But also, of course, on Route 66. So what you see is fairly obvious in a sense that we have Route 66 iconography, but we have a reflection of that car culture. And that car culture actually that really is part of the crossroads of Albuquerque. That crossroads comes in different flavors. Sometimes it's literally roads, but in other ways it's cultural. And what I love about the Route 66 car culture is it really blends two car cultures together. And you can see it in the maroon car right behind those of you, in a sense of, look, this was the road where all of these old-timey cars actually drove when they were invented. This was the beginning of that type of car culture. And then we see a modern flavor of that that's blended with our Hispanic heritage. That is our sort of lowrider and art car community culture that you see this iconic sort of paint and artwork behind me, but also on that car right there. And so you see two different generations coming together. And also in many ways, an Anglo history, just kind of what it is with Route 66 and the 50s and all that, blending with a Hispanic history and lowrider culture. That's what our city's all about, all embodied right here. And it makes me proud and grateful to be the mayor of a town that can bring these two things together so beautifully, by also the local artists behind me who make that happen, and the local car clubs that still drive these cars each and every day. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to our next speaker, and we're looking forward to all the celebrations this summer, but we're looking forward to each step along Route 66 that we can celebrate and tell our story, the story of this place in all our communities each day in Albuquerque. And so part of this is also about tourism, because everything I just shared with you, we do want the world to know about. And we want the rest of America to know about, and we also want their tax dollars when they come here to take pictures of it. So that means we got to include tourism. That is definitely part of what this is about. Again, it's a part on top of everything I just said. So the core is what we talked about earlier, but we want to sell it too, might as well. And so doing that is, of course, Visit Albuquerque. So let's bring up the CEO, Tanya Armenta.
Thank you, Mayor Keller. It's really our pleasure for Visit Albuquerque to join our partners, the City of Albuquerque, and all of the partners here to unveil this final installation. We have been talking about Route 66 Remixed and looking forward to this day for quite some time, and it marks the transformation, really. This becomes this 18-mile, the stretch of Route 66 and Route 66 Remixed makes sure that this is an open-air art installation. So today we're able to say, welcome the visitors with this final installation to Albuquerque for this art-fueled road trip. And it's about visitors and this opportunity to not just be a postcard, but for them really, as the mayor so wonderfully described, to be able to tell the stories, to talk about our cultures, our myriad of cultures, and the people that define our city. And today, but it also, for our residents, is an opportunity for a celebration of identity and community pride. And I think nothing more than what it, from this installation really underlines that. This is powerful because it's deeply authentic to Albuquerque, this particular installation. I can tell you that the visiting audience is really interested in our lowrider culture. And for us, we know that this is about more than cars. It's about art, heritage, family, and pride that's been passed down for generations. And so for us to be able to share this kind of creativity, craftsmanship, and cultural exploration and expression with visitors is really meaningful, and we know will really resonate with visitors. They want to go to some place that's different, and here in Albuquerque, this really retains the authenticity and the cultural adventure that they're looking forward to. So we are able to bring this to life through Route66ABQ.com. If you have not been there, it's a partnership. It's a website that has been gives travelers an easy way to plan their journey, discover installations like this one, and express everything that Albuquerque has to offer along Route 66. But it's also an opportunity for locals to be reminded about our own backyard and what makes Albuquerque so special. So I hope you've been there to see that website. If not, please do visit, and we look forward to hearing from you. Again, I want to thank the city's Department of Culture, Arts and Culture. They have been fabulous partners on Route 66 Remixed and on everything Route 66 that we're getting to invite visitors and residents to explore this year and making this vision a reality. To the artist, Rob Vanderslice, thank you so much for sharing your artwork with visitors and with the residents. Truly meaningful to us. And to remind us why Albuquerque's story is still being written right here on Central Avenue. So enjoy the cruise.
All right. So next, I want to bring up Councilor Klarissa Peña, and she's the counselor for this district. But I think it's also really important to know that she's probably the counselor for all of Route 66. She is the first counselor that called our department more than 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, and said, "Do you know that the Route 66 Centennial is in 2026? And I said, "No, I did not know that." And she said, "Well, it's time for you to start working on it." And she was enthusiastic. She had a beautiful vision, and she also put her support behind it from the very, very beginning. And I think that's also really important. And she needs a lot of love and affirmation for that, because during planning purposes, she put money in very early so we could start imagining what would be possible. And a lot of times, if we don't have the lead time, we don't have the planning money, we don't have a champion, then the city can't do big things. And Klarissa made sure all of those things were in place. And we've pulled off some really interesting and wonderful things in advance of the Route 66 Centennial because of her leadership. So, Councilor Peña.
Thank you, Director. I guess I want to start off with, first of all, congratulating Arts and Culture. They have done just an outstanding job. If you've gone up and down Central, you see the transformation. Sometimes we look at Central, we say we need to make some adjustments here and there. But if you're like me and like probably everyone else around here, we go up and down, cruise up and down Central all the time. And just to see all the art installations throughout is just pretty phenomenal. And I'm just real proud of this. We're looking at the 100th year celebration. It's here, like Director mentioned. We started this, kind of early. And now, in hindsight, I wish we would have started planning for this even earlier than that, because, we have so many ideas and so many great artists and so many great businesses and neon signs that we still want to improve along the corridor. As you've seen, some of the neon signs are lit up again, hoping to get more of those done as we kind of go on throughout the year. But I really, really want to say also thank you to, we have the West Side Business Association here, Melissa Sanchez, And we have Swan and West Central community members. If you guys can raise your hand, and I just really want to give some kudos to these folks here. Miss Becky Davis, Sharice, all you guys, Jeanette Baca here, Johnny J, all these people, most of these people are some of the old school members from a long time ago that had the vision to really look at, you know, we wanted the entire stretch to be redone, but 30 years ago, they're the ones that got together and said, we really need to make West Central a better place for our community. And through that, they've made so many tremendous improvements. You know, we've got a library now, we've got a new fire station, we're gonna get a new museum here, a new museum on top of the hill, the improvements to the bridge. That's all the work of these people over the course of 30 years. So I really wanna recognize that. And then of course, to the lowrider community, you know, I'm just real proud of the work we've done there to kind of unstigmatize lowriders in our community. I think this work is vital. You know, I have some people, I've said this before, but I've had some people from the lowrider community, you know, that really back in the day, this was, you know, when I was out cruising young, where we felt like we were being, you know, targeted and pulled over for no reason. And so the work of undoing that and repealing the anti-cruising ordinance has really gone a long way. And people from the lowrider community have said, you know, oh, now everybody loves lowriders. And, you know, it's kind of hard because of what we paid for in the beginning, you know, but now to see that our community has embraced the lowrider community like it has, and you see things like this all over the city. I mean, I think it's really a good day in the city of Albuquerque. And then finally, I want to thank Rob Vanderslice, but I'm going to throw in a little dig in him, is that you know the colors he likes if you see his car, right? So, and I just want to say, kind of, he's new to the work that these community members have been doing for such a long time. He was part of the repeal of the anti-cruising ordinance. But also, you know, working with him, he's so artistic, but I really want to put in a plug to him and to a lot of the mentors that are working with him, his daughter Deja, that, you know, we did the repeal and then other things along the line. But one of the real important things that I'm proud of with Rob outside of this, and I'll just finish with that, is that we started the lowrider bike program 4 years ago. And, you know, it was one of those things still with the same kind of stigma about how are you going to teach kids about after school? How does that help them with their classwork? Well, they learn science, they learn math, they learn chemistry, they learn how to fabricate, you know. And so we started this. I did it as a pilot program. And through all that controversy, I think the first year we had 8 students that graduated the program. And the second year, I think it was like 24. And then last year we had 64 kids. Talk about connecting culturally to our community. I think it's just phenomenal. And I can start all the programs I want. It really takes leaders and people like this to make sure those things, you know, prove me right, and they did. I mean, they have done just an outstanding job. And then I'm going to finish by saying this is such an incredible piece. I just am so proud of it. I'm proud that it's in District 3. I just love the artistic. It's really, to me, it's part of our culture. It's part of who we are, especially here in District 3 in our city. So again, congratulations, Rob. You've done a phenomenal job. I'm very proud of you. And all your team.
Great. Well, again, Route 66 Remixed is, the tagline is an art-fueled road trip. We decided that we really wanted to center artist voices in all of the work that we were doing for our Route 66, you know, signature project. So again, 20 artists and 1 poet. I encourage you to go to the website and learn about all of those artists. But today we are especially celebrating this piece and the work by Rob Vanderslice and his team, because he says every single time it's not just him, he brings a whole team to this kind of work. So let's hear a little bit from Rob.
Truly, we're blessed to be a part of this project. You know, Diego had reached out to me and first we were just so busy, and of course my daughter's like, Dad, this is what you've worked for all these years, to do things like this that'll leave a living legacy. And you know, stuff like this, like I say, I got to give credit where credit's due. This was a team effort. I want to give my whole crew, Martin Valencia, Stephen Moya, Alante Vanderslice, and Deja Vanderslice, which are my son and daughter. You know, this was a lot of work. We put our heart and soul into this piece. You guys don't understand sometimes how many hours this takes of taping, laying out all these intricate lines. It's not just something you wave a magic wand and it gets done. You know, lots of time tearing them apart, putting them back together, you know, to where we could tape where lines lined up, and then picking the colors like Councilor said. You know, these are some of my favorite colors, and we are going to really go at the silver, gold, and orange. And then we decided to do this kind of to go with the, you know, New Mexico sunset. It's got the golds, the oranges, the reds, a little purples, a little violet, you know, mixed in, and a little bit of gold. So, you know, we're excited. Like I say, you know, and just like she said, this is our 4th year with the Lowrider Bike After School program. We have 84 students this year, 41 on Tuesday, 43 on Wednesday. You know, we're just trying to pour into these kids, try to make a change, plant a seed that will be continuing to grow from years to come. You know, these kids are getting to learn how to use their hands, you know, instead of a phone to their face all the time, get to learn skills. We try to bring out those talents sometimes that people won't really try to help draw out. Every kid's got a unique gift, and sometimes it just takes an amazing group to pull those gifts out. We are blessed that the city supports that program, and just we're blessed to be a part of this Route 66. We have such a love for Route 66. I know me and several friends from Kansas will be actually cruising the Route 66 in our lowriders in September. We'll be going from Los Angeles all the way to Chicago, and this is huge here. So it's a blessing. So I just thank the city for believing in us and always supporting us. And we're going to do from the lowrider community, we're always going to support the youth in this community. So we just thank you.
All right, so just a few more things to know about this project. So one of the things, we've talked about car culture a lot today, but we also, in the placement of several of these pieces, we also wanted to make it possible for, you know, not just for people to take selfies, but for cars to take selfies as well, because that feels really important if you're talking about cars and driving Route 66. So this is another location where people can pull up their car and take a photo. Our 2 biggest murals, one at the corner of University and Central, you can pull up right in front of that. I mean, not during the school day because it's just UNM students, but like Sunday afternoons, really great photo. Also downtown on 7th and Central, it's a beautiful mural right there on the side of El Rey, another place that you can pull up. And then at the Route 66 Visitors Center, there's a mural that actually faces the road, not Central, but the access road. Again, so that we are trying to also respond to what this celebration is really about. And it's the ability to travel, right? And it's the ability to travel in our own cars and set our own paths. And that's why for us it matches up so well with artists and, you know, our own creative voices and our own visions of the world. So I have to do, I don't want to say obligatory, but I do want to highlight some of our partners on this project so that you understand how much it takes to put all of these pieces together, but also how many people are so excited. So in no particular order, okay, maybe one particular order, I'm going to introduce the Deputy Secretary of Tourism for the state of New Mexico, Dr. Shanna Sasser, back here. And then maybe another louder round of applause because they put in a lot of money, sponsorship money, to make these possible. So they paid probably more than half of the artists. So maybe like, yeah, yes. We couldn't have done it without them at this scale, so thank you so much. And they've really led the charge in terms of a lot of marketing for us and for the entire state. We also had 2 really important creative partners in Route 66 Remixed. One is Meow Wolf, and I didn't see anybody from Meow Wolf. I don't know if they were able to get down when we rescheduled. Nope. And then Refract Studio. Do we have anybody from? Hey, Sam, Refract Studio. Very nice. So Refract Studio, they did all of the augmented reality sites. And if you don't know what augmented reality is, ask, somebody that's like 40 or younger, or maybe even 30 or younger. Or you can talk to Sam. They did all the augmented reality stops. There's 8 of those. And they also put together kind of your online map and the narration that takes you to all of the sites. So great job there. Literally could not have done that without them, for sure. And then we've got with us, you met Visit Albuquerque's CEO. Visit Albuquerque has been our partner creatively, logistically, planning, strategically, all the way through. So we want to thank them because they understand not only that they're trying to get visitors here, but they're investing in Albuquerque so that Albuquerque gets to highlight its favorite kind of parts of who we are. And so they invest locally as much as they focus on visitors. Blake Slaughterburger, we all love Blake Slaughterburger, right? So Blake's is here. They came on as a really important marketing partner and paid for the printing of all of our maps, which are not just they are cool maps. So if you've not seen how cool these maps are, Tanya's here. Here's Tanya. She's got some maps. If you haven't seen the actual physical map, you do not need your phone for this. If you want to see the actual map, you can get one from Tanya, and you can also get them at Blake Slaughterburger locations, not just in Albuquerque, but across the state. That's what kind of great partner they are, and also at our libraries and other cultural sites. So please take one of those home, or take 2 home, however many she has. All of our artists, I cannot name them all here, but there's 21 artists. Their creative voices are the only thing that makes this really cool. We all did cool work, and we're good at a lot of things, but it would just be a bunch of pins on a map without their creative visions. Community supporters, property owners. I called out Mark because he's here, but there's several places where things are happening that are not on city property. So we had a lot of property owners that said yes to being partners, yes to letting them paint something on their building and they didn't know what it was going to be, and yes to letting us do things inside their businesses, and that is a big deal. So thank you to our property owners up and down Central that said yes. There's a lot of other people that said yes. I probably forgot one of you, but thank you. And thank you so much for all of this, and thank you everyone for coming out and celebrating this particular amazing place. We're going to clear out, so if anybody is like, yeah, I do want that selfie with my car, we'll be out of the way in a few minutes, and you can get it before you go. You've got to tag Rob and the Department of Arts and Culture. Thank you so much.